offering. They're gone. What do you mean they're gone?
The snacks, they're gone, missing.
Well, they have to be here somewhere. They're not here. They can't just get up and walk away.
All right, only 13 more hours to go.
New M&Ms, now with crunchy caramel inside.
Athlete's foot playing on your mind? Fight the fungi with Caniston once daily. The no mess, no touch applicator helps to prevent cross-infection and makes it easy to kick athlete's foot. Try Caniston once daily athlete's foot cream.
So if you're starting your project, you can always pop into Bunnings. We definitely make DIY easier for anyone from the beginner all the way to the expert.
So you can tackle those projects. The thing you thought might be a little too hard, we can show you how to do it.
Most of the customers that come in here, it is about home improvement and it is a personal journey for a lot of customers, so it's great to be a part of that journey with them. You get a lot of great satisfaction out of seeing them achieve their goals.
It's like setting your own goals for your own DIY projects at home.
We made a promise. Someday we was gonna make it big.
Foxtel Movies. Bring the cinema experience home. Available anytime, on demand.
Are you super ready for Super Monday? Brady is ready. And so is Mahomes. We're all super ready for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 55 on ESPN.
Oh boy, she's on now. That's off the scale. Well, if that doesn't fire you up, nothing will. So it's all to play for.
Almost set for the second half on a beautiful day in Newcastle. The home side, everyone's smiling. The home side leads 1-0. This man was smiling when that goal went in, Craig Deans. Quick chat before the second half, Craig. Tactically, what changes going into the win as opposed to with it happen so often here in Newcastle?
Yeah, obviously we're used to it. We understand the conditions, but look, it's just been better with the ball coming out of our own half. You obviously can't just kick it long and hope you're going to get out. So, look, we don't do that generally anyway, but just being better with the ball, moving nice and quick, and, you know, we've got some speed up the top, so the ball over the top might hold up as well.
Hey, Deansy, a $3 note in that first half. Angus Thurgate with his head. What have you been doing?
Well, we've been trying to get in ahead of the ball, but his hair keeps falling out, so you won't do it very often.
A stitch up of one of your own players. Seriously, though, what do you expect City to adjust, if anything, in the second half?
Oh, look, they've obviously got some quality players in the front third, as we spoke about before the game, so it's just a matter of us being on top of the game back there, and we want to keep going. We had a few chances in the first half, so hopefully a few more.
Appreciate your time, Craig. Thank you.
Thanks, boys.
And to reiterate that stat before half-time, 8 times from 8 so far in A-League football has Newcastle led at half-time against Melbourne City, and they've won the game. Do that, and they're well away from the bottom of the table in this early part of the season where it is so compressed top to bottom. Here is Thurgate. First time cross, early one to Hoffman, who was waiting for Scott Jamieson to make a misjudgment, which he didn't, and it was good defending from the left back.
That's a very good defensive header from Jamieson. Similar in execution to the work of Atkinson in the first half of Melbourne City.
Hoffman gets a little present for his 150th for Newcastle with that free kick. Yeah. He's also played a stack of games for the club he's playing against, Melbourne City, stroke Melbourne Heart, 80 games down in Melbourne before he came back to Newcastle. Started as a striker, obviously, so that's why he's gone right into the middle here. Ugarkovic to provide. It's gone right across. He's offside, perhaps, Hoffman. He is, because he taps in Yule's knockdown. Flag went straight up.
Well, clear offside, but worrying defence before that for Melbourne City.
Harps, I didn't know you went to a private school. Offside.
You're right, I didn't.
They're giving out gifts like they did the shirt for his 150. They don't go to that extent in terms of the offside call. But Dangerous moment. They're still checking, are they? Now, is this back to the rule, if the defender plays at the ball, everyone becomes onside? Surely not. The proximity between Ewell and the defender, even if it does come off the defender, they're looking at the back defender up there, and Hoffman has to be offside. He is, his back foot. They can play on, but it's just for a moment there, Harps, that new interpretation that has come into play. Had me a little worried. Berenguer can find Garuccio in a little bit of space. Jamison's pass has a lot on it, and Ugarkovic nearly misjudged where the ball was going and the man. Donovan leading into the back of Good. It was fair game. Good goes flying in on Thurgate. And he has left a crater in the pitch.
That's a very determined play by Curtis Good.
Ewell. Oh, well played to Perso and now to Hoffman. They're switching from one side to the other in two passes, the Jets. Trumbus. Perso has stayed out here. Garkovic. Thurgate and switch out to Perso again. One-on-one with Jamison. Trombus and Ugarkovic, and they can again settle into a comfortable moment. To Paul Stanley, a little feign for a shot. Perso goes diving in with Jamison, comes out to Hoffman. Back post is Ewell, will head it away from Atkinson. Down to O'Toole, it won't fall for him. Metcalf gets rid. It's all Newcastle halves.
Well, they've really found their feet. This has been pretty much the pattern of their play this season. Melbourne City under extreme pressure.
Ewell thought about coming back onto his right. A little muddled up in the end.
Couldn't make the pressure tell on that occasion. Clever from Bogart. And the Jets will come again. Basically, it's been 5 minutes without the ball for Melbourne City. The start of the second half last week against the Wanderers, give or take. Wanderers didn't get a touch for about 15 or 20 minutes. Newcastle's second half was so good. They've started similarly here.
I was taken aback by the crispness of the ball movement from both sides on that occasion. Luna doesn't quite get it right with McLaren there. Handball from Uruguayan. Yeah, that Friday night, it was the right conditions. I mean, Bozza made mention, I remember pre-game, about how perfect the conditions were, and both sides really played to them, but different here, and into the win, Newcastle have settled well. Duncan just straight down the middle.
That's a good header from Raish. You wonder, firstly, what sort of fitness regime he's been on in quarantine. And secondly, how long he can last in this second half if Newcastle are able to put their foot down.
Perso, Ugarkovic. Can't quite find Thurgate, but he gets another crack here, Thurgate. was a coat of paint away from scoring the first goal, Thurgate, and it set it up for that man, Ewell, but
just miscalculating there, Tino Ewell, but it sort of exemplifies how desperate Newcastle have been to start this second half. But they must cast their minds back to this time first half, when it was they who were finding it really difficult to get into any sort of rhythm. Melbourne City were having the run of things, couldn't find the game-breaking goal.
See there, that ball played through from Nuno Reis. It was a beautiful ball, but it went straight to two players standing right next to each other, and Metcalf was kind of waiting for McLaren to make the run, and then in the end McLaren went for the ball and Metcalf was too close and nothing came of it. But he looks a ball player, Nuno Reis. As you mentioned, in quarantine, he didn't exactly get caught in the trap of fast food from Uber Eats every 3 hours. Here's the cross, McLaren. Giving too many of those chances, he'll take one.
That's a great run across the defenders. He's just so good at this, Jamie McLaren. Nice ball dropped in from Nunes as well. And you can just as easily imagine that sneaking in the near post from McLaren.
Just on Nuno Reis as well, he unfortunately got caught up in that Perth situation with quarantine, so he was going to join Melbourne City a little earlier out of quarantine, but he was quarantining in the west, so it meant his journey up here this week was delayed. Couldn't get out of Victoria, had to stay for 5 days. Here's City perhaps with a chance. Metcalf thought about the shot. Luna and Atkinson, one-touch football is beautiful, and Atkinson right across goal, and if not for the alertness of John Katrumbas, it was 1-1.
That was beautiful from Melbourne City. It's delightful to watch the give and go. Newcastle's defence was compressed, but they still managed to find a way through. The chance eventuating because of the great attack down the left-hand side, and Luca Prucho was tracking the man with the ball, Florent Berenguer, but instead of really doubling up on him with Bogart, he backed off. Berenguer was able to change direction and set up the attack down the other side.
Berenguer's corner is over everyone.
And in that sense, it's a relief for Newcastle. You know, their lead could have been extinguished at that moment. But for Katrumbas, composed and slid the ball away. Beautiful consecutive give and goes between Luna and Atkinson. And Garuccio hovering for the tap-in.
Talk a bit of retro A-League. That little moment between Atkinson and Luna goes back to Carl Kazarine Carl for Sydney FC all those years ago. Bruno Kazarine and Nick Carl. The latter who has lit up this ground on more than one occasion in the A-League. Trombus. Atticus Norbo is a bit of a fan of that defending. Bozza, early stages, second half. What are you noticing down there?
Well, you know, in the pre-game, Adam, when you asked me about Melbourne City and, you know, about sometimes how they've, you know, sort of basically what's been going wrong and so forth, and I said, look, when there are times when they do go down and when things aren't going particularly well, that's when the experienced players need to stand up. Well, this is one of those times. You know, 1-0 down after starting off so well. Started the second half, it's all Newcastle. And it's up to those experienced players on the park to start taking responsibility. And to be fair to them, they have. They've come back in the game. McLaren with a half chance and that wonderful bit of interplay right on the edge of the box, which Katrumba's done really well to clear away. But they've got to keep it going because regardless of the fact that they've got themselves back into the game, it's still 1-0 for Newcastle.
And a little stat to lead on with that about the possibilities of comebacks for Melbourne City. They've scored 19 straight times against Newcastle. Atkinson, one-on-one with Ewell. It was a good battle. A couple of jets out there in a literal sense, not so much a team sense. Katrumbas gives it away straight to Jamison, who can drive into the box. He gives it away as well. A bit of ping-pong. Good. First time out to Garuccio. Whip it in with his left. Nope. Try and beat Katrumbas. And at the third time of asking, he does that. The cross is in, and this time it's O'Toole at the back stick to get rid of it. Danger building for Newcastle.
Yeah, well, Melbourne City have weathered their own little storm, opening 10 minutes, and have most recently been the team to attack with purpose. Katrumbas, after saving his team to the oncoming, against the oncoming Garuccio just moments ago, then gave the ball straight to Garuccio, who caused a very dangerous situation for the Jets.
This time with his right, Garuccio. Probably tell that he's a left footer. Jamison, neat ball. Berenguer. Bogard didn't need to move. Peppering away here, City. And unfortunately, Luca Perso is not feeling on top of the world. Cramp an hour in, hasn't played a stack of football of late. He was a late addition to the Newcastle Jets squad. Pickle juice time. He's an interesting story, Luca Perso. He went over to Europe as a young man, teenager, and he had some work permit issues over there to be able to play over there. He was at Bayern Munich. They liked the look of him. He was at Southampton as well. Looks like he's going to be able to continue for now. No, they're going to make the substitution with Costa Petrados coming on. Luca Perso, his first start for Newcastle Jets. Pretty productive.
Well, second game for the Jets. Wins a penalty from which they levelled last week, provides the back heel, which was a key moment in the Jets' goal-scoring move. 15 or so minutes last week, an hour today. All building blocks. Crowd appreciated. They know when they see a good player. I guess one for the talk fest post-game between this and next match, when Remy Nazarin's fit and ready to go, is not whether it's one or the other. It's does Craig Deans tempt both playing at once? How tantalising would that be?
Yule, the chance to get a free cross in, and Nuno Reis was well positioned. Gets it out for a corner.
That presupposes, of course, that Craig Deans is still coaching for the next game. We're expecting early this week an announcement.
Are we? Okay.
Well, I was expecting last week, so each week I'm going to say we're expecting it this week.
There was word that people were coming up to Craig Deans through the week at training and congratulating him on getting the job. Yule flick on. And at the back post, that's why you have a man on the post. It was Florent Berenguer, in fact. Oh, Reis has not heard the call from Glover. Bit of miscommunique, but here's the chance from Newcastle.
Just behind Hoffman, and that would have been onside if he connects there. Brilliant little flick from Tino York. Maybe a little bit of tiredness from Nuno Reis there. First sign, ball just getting stuck under his feet. O'Donovan pouncing.
Ugarkovic, Yule with another flick on. Trombus back to Ugarkovic intelligently. Yule is in space here and he's onside. And he rips a really dangerous cross into the palms of Tom Glover, who is perfectly positioned, and he launches a counter-attack. Luna. They go the open side here. They're on City. All their players are over there, and Hoffman smartly gives away a free kick.
Oh, what a flurry from the Jets. Twice very close. An escape for Melbourne City, who've had some very good and promising moments in this second half, but they were pinned back there, as they are about to be again now, perhaps.
Bogart will look to see this out. No, McLaren positioned himself well to make Bogart play at the ball. Petrados with the John Rambo hairstyle. No prisoners taken. There he goes again. Oh, can't get him angry. Yeah, that's the right call.
I think it must have come from the 40 because the assistant, the Bengal Lancer, he flagged for a City throw, agreeing with his, or complying with his central official. I think it was the 40. He said, guys, come on.
O'Donovan, Yule's on here at the back stick. Can he find him? He has to bring it down with his right. He's doing his best. Hoffman. Thurgate. They're lining up Newcastle. It was O'Toole, in fact, that last one. Thurgate again. Well, it's really opening up now. This next half hour is going to be a bit of fun, halves.
Well, it's a very enjoyable game. Melbourne City hanging on, but they've got enough quality to get themselves right back in the game, and Newcastle with this series of chances, albeit half chances. Tommy Glover's only really had to fall on one, diffuse across, but the defence has been breached a few times. This is really smart from O'Donovan. Had a quick look up, just didn't settle for Yule. And just too awkward for Newcastle. Great recovery. I think it was Connor Metcalf. Maybe Craig Noon sticking his boot in, saving the day. More pressure for Melbourne City.
And Valentino Yule is an absolute handful at the moment for Melbourne City. Straight back in, straight back out by Luna. To Paul Stanley. Costa Petrados can line up the cross. Took too long. Hoffman's still down. Yeah, that chance for Yule, he's made a couple of gut-busting runs to get on the end and stay on the last line and cause some problems. You just get the feeling he was a little bit, you know, not quite in rhythm with himself, given the lactic perhaps building, that he couldn't get that left leg up firstly to trap the ball and get it back on his right.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right in the other comment you make. You know, just defenders hate playing against strikers like Valentino Yule because they're around you the whole time. They're sticking boots in. They're running past you. You just cannot rest. That was a difficult one. You know, he's running into the breeze. It's quite a stiff breeze. The ball bounced awkwardly. He had the breeze to that as well. I think on that occasion, just pay more credit to the recovery of Melbourne City to get troops back and see the ball away.
You look at the guy leading the Golden Boot standings at the moment in Dylan Wenzel-Halls. He's exactly that, not a moment's peace for any defender marking him, and it's the same for anyone who has to line up against Valentino Yule. Jason Hoffman looks okay to continue, which is good news.
Well, he got ironed out by the very strong work of Curtis Good, clearing defensively with his head, and Jason Hoffman just happened to be in the way. Felt the full brunt of that.
Trados keeps it in. Booted away by City, and Newcastle can reset again. So there's shifts in momentum. They've been pronounced. It's been 10 minutes Newcastle, a little spell for Melbourne City, and now it's back with Newcastle asking the majority of the questions. Hoffman a little bounce pass to Kotrumbis, can't link up with O'Donovan.
This is a worry for Curtis Good, who's gone down. Did he get caught? Oh, O'Donovan's patting him on the back. Maybe it was an accidental catch down his right calf. The Jets are a very difficult team to play against when they get their passing going. Very difficult. Now, there are teams above them on the table who haven't coped with it and just managed to play a team that couldn't score goals. And it's not as though the floodgates have opened by any means. Obviously, this game's still well and truly in the balance. But Melbourne City, apart from a little bit of a look here and there, are finding it really difficult to get hold of the ball to stop Newcastle playing. They've been reduced to, in some senses, desperation in their own penalty area, at which they've been very, very good.
Trados. Ping-pong around there. I'm not sure if it was an inadvertent handball. Anyway, play's allowed to go on. Noon, one-on-one with O'Toole. There's an acre of space around these two players. So Noon allows Newcastle to come back and cover. To Jamison. And Alec Mills looks like he's getting instructions to come on. So Garuccio with the cross. And Noon with the shot. Straight at Jack Duncan.
Hoffman being ready to come off and Moragas to come on for Hoffman.
Lucas Moragas, the young player, will just go straight into that position on the right side for Newcastle, thanks to that bozzer. And yeah, Alec Mills was having a discussion with Des Buckingham, the assistant for Melbourne City, a short time ago. Maybe Nuno Roche hasn't got long in the afternoon. Out to Craig Noon. That's a wonderful switch of play. Thurgate just clears. So that substitution about to be made. And this young man, Lucas Moragas, he made his way up from Canberra into the youth setup for Newcastle Jets. Daniel McBreen had him in the youth team, the youth setup, and he was amazed at his capacity just to work, just to want it. He willed himself to becoming an A-League footballer. And he's making his 6th appearance of the season. 1 start, 4 off the bench. He can run for fun. VO2 max to challenge anyone, apparently. Jamison in the middle of the park. Metcalf. They've loaded this right-hand side, Melbourne City. They're going to play through as well. Atkinson is caught by Thurgate and gives away a foul.
He's constantly been dangerous for Melbourne City today. Nathaniel Atkinson winning the foul there. This is in a nice position. Berenguer strolling over. Thurgate says, I didn't touch him. And it's that old argument, I can't disappear. So a small break for Melbourne City, perhaps.
Andre Luna's come over for a swap of 1 boot. Seen there with the alternates on. This is a dangerous looking ball that finds Curtis Good, who can't quite arch the neck to get the ball on target.
It's a great run. Curtis Good, been one of Melbourne City's best here today. And who is it? Tino Yule, who decided the job's done, but it wasn't quite. Curtis Good nearly embarrassed the Jets.
And Nikolai Topol-Stanley let everyone know about it. Indication of that breeze still being rather fresh here at McDonald Jones Stadium as we go into the last 20 minutes. No, Donovan can't quite keep it in.
He's been good today, Roy. In a difficult assignment, he's been given no daylight at all by Curtis Good, but he's weathered his own storm to start this season. His form was poor. Looked like he had a case of the yips. Coach has backed him. He's stayed in the contest. He's picked up a couple of goals, had a beautiful pass to break the ice against Wellington in that much-needed win. And you got to admire the strength of character.
Kolakowski being ready to come on for Craig Noon.
Yeah, Stefan Kolakowski, who set up that goal to cap a comeback win for Melbourne City early in the season against Western United. An injection of pace about to come here for Melbourne City, or fresh pace, because Craig Noon is no slouch, but Kolakowski the option. Garkovic doesn't beat the first man. Oh, trouble. Luna, and he's got McLaren for company. So it's 2 on the keeper. Adrian Luna looks up, sees McLaren, and fluffs his lines.
Well, after starting the game slowly, but then rising above the pack to head onto the post for the Tino Yule goal. Look at this run from Thurgate. Centre screen, disappeared now. Luna's away. And Angus Thurgate, as he's piling downfield, communicates with Duncan non-verbally. You're going to have to look after the ball, Jack. I'm going to make sure he can't pass it to McLaren to roll the ball in. It's an incredible, lung-bursting effort from Angus Thurgate, which was a major contributor into Jack Duncan saving the day.
As Craig Noon looks up and sees the substitution. So here it is again here, Harps. It was like almost race caller mode for a moment there, because it was Luna and McLaren running into second position.
Look
and
at Thurgate.
Thurgate.
I'm forgetting the ball. I'm just going to make sure it can't be a tap-in. It's brilliant from the youngster. And you're doing that, over an hour into a game, which has been taxing physically. Somehow you find that. He's run them all down. That could be a game-saving moment if the Jets get the 3 points here.
Petrados over the top. It will hold up into the breeze, but Glover's alert enough to come out. And now City go back the other way. Kolakowski and Atkinson, who didn't quite see that man, Angus Thurgate.
And if they do continue with the lead and get the 3 points, full-time Connor O'Toole goes straight to Thurgate and says, thanks for saving my derriere. That was an amazing piece of work by Thurgate.
Who would have appreciated the substitution made shortly after by Melbourne City to give himself the 20 or 30 seconds needed to get the air back in the lungs. Scott Jamieson can't quite believe that that's not a corner.
Well, he's emerged through the game. His first 10 minutes were really sloppy. Indeed, that best moment for Melbourne City, you'll remember, as he lost the ball in midfield, passed from Luna through to McLaren, and Duncan had to save. And from there, he's been one of the key protagonists. That quite literally was an awesome recovery run.
Yule's through here. He's on the other side of Jamieson, but the ball held up. And he can't quite link up with Costa Petrados. Yule wins the throw-in. O'Toole drags it back onto his left foot. Moragas. That's O'Toole. Oh, wonderful. With the back of the foot, Nuno Reis gets rid of.
No, he's been good. This has been a real test for Nuno Reis. Make no mistake. He's had to very quickly form a partnership with Curtis Good. They've both been excellent because they've had to see off a lot of Newcastle attacks. Nice work on the far touchline by Connor O'Toole.
At literally 24 hours notice as well. Moragas, the cross, Bogart. Ball in air, knowing that he's going to head the ball. You could have had the house on him to at least get it on target.
Yeah, that's a bankable commodity normally. It should be 2 for Newcastle.
Uh-oh. The press has worked here for Newcastle. O'Donovan, there's a man down. That's Luna. Petrados. Not quite. And that, talking about playing into a trap, that was one hell of a trap set by the Jets there defensively to win the ball back high up. So when does City start opening themselves up a little more in pursuit of something out of this game?
Oh, wow, that's 2-0 right there. Well, they've been doing enough hanging on. He's got one more sub window, Paddy Kosnorbo.
He's got some craft there in Marco Tilio. I'd be surprised if we don't see him in the last 15 minutes or so. Of course, without a picture on the training ground and what Tilio's been putting in the eyes of Patrick Isnorbo, but he's a player that can break open a game pretty quickly. Bozza, how do you see it with City at the moment? Do they need another injection? Do they need, as we see this one go all the way through to Duncan Just, who had to be alert and clear? How do you see it at the moment, Boz, with City?
Duncan does very well there. Look, you know, like I said to you before, they've held in, they've stayed in the fight, you know, and I made that point before the game. This is when they've got to stand up and stay in there, and they've done that. You know, I always talk about men and moments. I tell you what, Bogart, that was the 2-0. That would have been all over back then. But City have stayed in it. Now, right this moment in time, I would hold off. Oh, here we go.
Kolikovsky, here's a chance. Garuccio on his left as well. And, well, he nearly puts it outside the parameters of the 18-yard box for a goal kick.
Boy, that was an even better chance than it looked. He tried to come around it and put it on his left foot, but it was a great chance. If I was Melbourne City, I would hold off, because you still got to wait to see how Nuno Resch is going to pull up in terms of being in quarantine. You're seeing Nathaniel Atkinson suffering, I think, a little bit from cramp as well. So I would actually just hold fire at least for the next 5 minutes or so.
What did you make of that breakaway as well, Boz? And well, the Thurgate run down, but could they have done anything different, City?
Well,
those two
of course
players?
they could. Luna completely, you know, he stuffed it up. Simple as that. But you know, yes, well done to the Newcastle players, but they only did what they had to, what they were supposed to do. But really, that should have been 1-1.
Missed opportunity, and Angus Thurgate's got something to be proud about when he has a look back. And look at him, he's 10 lengths off them, Harps, at the 200. They've gone past the clock tower, and he's run them down.
Well, what contributed majorly to the stuff-up was Luna didn't have the conviction to finish it himself, point one. Secondly, the whole way you could see he thought he was that far clear, he just had to roll McLaren in, remove all doubt, but he didn't reckon on that recovery. But this is the game. Should have gone back to 1-1. Jets then, through Bogart, should have made it 2-0. And for as long as it stays this, and as dominant as the Jets have been, a very good second half from them, they're by no means safe. Not when you've got McLaren around.
And to shift it quickly here, City from side to side, and has been unlike what we've seen so far from the Portuguese defender, Nuno Resch. Been pretty composed at the back. Only had his first full training session with Melbourne City yesterday after he flew into Newcastle at about 11 a.m. Allowed out of Melbourne after serving a 5-day isolation period after being in quarantine in Perth. Garuccio, Thurgate. Oh, that was hefty. Ben Garuccio into the book. Angus Thurgate onto the physio table tomorrow morning when he wakes up.
Well, there's a couple of Newcastle fullbacks who need to thank and apologise. Thurgate, clear yellow card. But Katrumbas' starting defensive position there on Garuccio was really poor. And he needed the cover inside of Thurgate to dig him out of a hole.
So the options for Newcastle, hopefully Thurgate can finish this. He deserves to finish it. Jack Armson, Blake Archbold, Marky Petrados, Tete Yengi, who's more an attacking threat. Both coaches leaving that one last window as long as possible. Trados does well. Garkovic. Was O'Donovan running on. That flag, I mean, we don't see it very often anymore, Harps, the flag going straight up.
No, exactly right, but it was Valentino Yule, who made contact with Scott Jamieson, which I think brought an abrupt end to that chance for Newcastle.
McLaren, for just about the first time today, is able to roll his defender off a ball from the back for Melbourne City, and it launches this move forward. Luna's at the back post, but he heads straight at Duncan.
Very, very calm from Jack Duncan, though. The ball sitting up in the breeze. Luna goes low for that near post. Stooping header. It's not a bad effort. But Jack Duncan, really calm, falling on a good soft hands.
Lucas Moragas has come up with a wonderful ball-and-all tackle on his teammate. Roy Donovan was lucky to not give away a free kick, just jumped into his defender. It's a little misguided going forward there for City. Garuccio trying a nifty move, which Bogard was alert to. Katrombis, drive out. Yule, he looks spent. Valentino Yule, he'll give everything for as long as he's needed to.
He's been very good again today. Any one player who starts feeling tired and as though they're pulling up needs to realise that there's a whole clutch of players in a very similar state physically.
Yule, back post is Moragas. Doesn't get past Good, but it's out for a corner.
That's excellent defending again from Curtis Good. He's had a big game for his team. But interesting, this stage of the game, maybe it's in the first 6 minutes and not the last. Valentino Yule probably touches that and carries the ball into the penalty area. Not that the early ball necessarily was a bad option.
Bugarkovic, and that's a good corner. Attacking it is Petrados and sending it onto the hill. With the deflection was Thurgate, so they get another crack at it. Reminder, we've got another good game on the way to end the weekend on Fox Sports. Game just about every day at the moment, and this one will be a beauty coming up really soon. Central Coast taking on Western United. Matt Simon in his 201st game for the Mariners, a few days after that wonderful night on Wednesday where the Mariners came back from 2-0 down against this side, Melbourne City, to win and get 3 points and go top of the league. That one on the way, live on Fox Sports. Right after these last few nervous moments, perhaps, for Newcastle. Or do they get out of sight here with this set piece? Another corner. It's the 10th of the game. Not sure what we're checking on. Play on now. Berenguer will get tripped up by Bogard, and Bogard will go straight into the ball. Jamieson. The little complexities of a team leading 1-0 and a team trailing 1-0. When does City start to throw the kitchen sink at Newcastle? And conversely, when does Newcastle start to just play ultra defensive and territorial football? This is dangerous. McLaren was trying to first time it over the head of Duncan.
It's a super run from McLaren again. Jack Duncan hadn't advanced out of the penalty area or towards the edge of. I'm gathering what Jamie McLaren had anticipated.
He's on the edge of his 6-yard box. If McLaren got it the way I think he wanted it to, I think Duncan was a bit in no man's land anyway. It needed to be an outrageous piece of skill, and McLaren couldn't quite pull it off on that occasion. Wouldn't count against him getting another big opportunity before we're done here this afternoon in Newcastle. Thurgate. It's Metcalf out there, and the pressure from O'Donovan. Raish can only clear, and Newcastle can come again. Bugarkovic, excellent as always in the centre of the park for the Jets. Katrombis, a bit of space. He looks to go back post to O'Donovan.
Great play from the Jets late in the game. Players still making runs. As McLaren did for Melbourne City, Roy O'Donovan ghosting on the back stick. Beautiful setup from Ugarkovic. And then this is a really tidy bit of work from Johnny Katrumbis. Just half a step away at full stretch was Roy O'Donovan.
Berenguer. 4 forward runners for City. Instead, the Frenchman elects to drive. Kolakovsky misses the first touch. Atkinson, Kolakovsky ahead of him. He's still on side. He's got quick feet. He's found Luna with another header. Jack Duncan is going off his brain. How can he be allowed that?
Well, Adrian Luna, on many occasions, has been the hero for Melbourne City. And as heroic as that leap is, it's another golden chance for him. It's 3 dead-set chances for the Uruguayan. 2 with his head, 1 with the breakaway. But it's still a duck egg for Melbourne City. Can be a cruel game, football. He's a man small in stature, but massive on character. Adrian Luna. But he's had 3 chances, good ones. Forced only 1 save.
Curtis Good to perhaps launch a last-minute raid here for Melbourne City. Time added on, about to be found out. Luna making a lung-bursting run. Can he turn provider? He wins a corner. You heard it, switch on. Everyone back for the Jets. All 10 outfield players in the 18-yard box. Luna with the corner. Topor Stanley with an important clearance, but only as far as Garuccio, who doesn't link up with Luna again. And relief for the Jets. He's not going to get the main job. He's going to go very, very close and not die wondering. Craig Deans. Roy O'Donovan's had to go from halfway into the breeze. I've seen some ambitious things in my time, but that was up there.
Really,
why not?
Really ambitious and a poor choice, you've got to say. A guy who's a great experience. He's been very, very good today, but the Jets could have done with holding the ball there.
Bogard, good covering. Moragas. Petrados, 4-on-4. 5-on-4 with Garuccio joining back for City. Yule. That's smart. Go to the corner. Tries to win a corner. Didn't want to get involved in a bit of contact down in there with Katrumbis now electing to have a go. Deflection goes straight to Glover. And we've got 5 extra minutes here. We've had 1. So plenty of time for City to create 1, if not 2 chances to try and get something out of this one. And here is a chance. Garuccio with plenty of space down the left. Elects to go short to Berenguer. Lovely twist of the hips over the back. O'Toole. Not sure that was where it was meant to go. Falls to Atkinson. Ping pong in the box and away it goes from Bogard. That was a bit of luck for the Jets.
They shouldn't be in this situation, Newcastle. They should have been arguably still in possession in Melbourne City's half, but they haven't made the most of a numerical advantage. They haven't made the most of a desperate City stretching the field, and now it's all hands to the pumps for the Jets.
Atkinson just loves taking players on. Gets into a bit of space there. Metcalf with the left. Katrumbis flicks up. Berenguer. He's been good in these situations so far. Jamison just goes for the little foot wedge over the back, and Duncan gratefully claims. They had a bit to do. All that was not intentional. If they were going to have a go from halfway, perhaps if it fell kindly, more kindly there to Metcalf, he could have had a crack. All of a sudden, Harps, there's a sense of just hanging on for dear life for the Jets.
Some of the spokes have fallen out of the wheel. And the old Gertie is wobbling.
Metcalf. Jamison in a space in the middle of the park. He'll have a go with the wind behind him. And Nicky Norbo is not best pleased with his captain's decision-making process right there. So Roy O'Donovan, as always, run his heart out and created some opportunities for the Jets. Didn't get his goal that he gets every second game, Roy. Certainly a presence this afternoon. Tete Yengi to come on for the last couple of minutes for the Jets and hang on for 3 precious points, which will get them up to 7 points, equal with Sydney and Adelaide.
Jack Duncan's last clearance with his boot wasn't a good one. Let's see if he can correct this time.
He's gone down the side that time, which is probably a better choice. I don't know what the shopping bill was like for the Yengi household, but Tete, like his brother Cassini in Adelaide, is a unit, and he's bearing down on goal right now. Wriggling free. Petratos. And Curtis Good in the right spot. Oh, Thurgate again. Harps, your man, he's been outstanding. Does he use the nous that he's built up over a number of games in the A-League? He does. He wins a throw-in, a precious throw-in for the Jets.
Herculean from Thurgate, truly. Particularly when you consider where his first 10 minutes or so was as a Jets player here. Has emerged, as things stand, with a matter of seconds to go according to the notified time added on. He's the difference between the teams.
And it's a corner, and that should be about it for the Jets, and they're on the cusp of their first home success of the season. Beaten 3 times in a row, 2-1 at home. City's trip to New South Wales for the matches on the coast north of Sydney looks to be turning into a fruitless one. It is. The Jets have a big 3 points. Melbourne City have little to show for an afternoon where they created a number of chances, especially late in this game. It's harsh to say the Jets have just hung on. They played their part in another really entertaining 90 minutes of A-League football. But they're going in the right direction, this club, and surely Craig Deans is one step away, if not already there, for the permanent gig as coach of this football club in an A-League sense. Full time in Newcastle. Newcastle Jets 1, Melbourne City 0.